Hey, good evening, y'all. I hope on this last night of March 2022, y'all are doing well. I had an interesting day, to say the least. I just wanted to thank you, especially if you prayed for me this morning, because it was it was one of those mornings where initially everything seemed to be going well. It really did. And then all of a sudden, things weren't. But here's the thing, even if you're on what you believe is the path that God put you on, it doesn't mean that things are going to be perfect. It just doesn't. You're a human being existing in this three-dimensional reality that we call life. And you're one of God's children. We're all God's children. That's the thing. Even a shithead like me is one of freaking God's children. And God knew what God created. So once you figure out, number one, that you are a child of God, and number two, that God actually created you for some purpose, and God forbid, once you figure out what that purpose is, things will go the way they're supposed to go. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's not how glorious that you imagined life would be. But life will go. It will continue. And eventually, on God's time, you'll get where you need to be. In the past, if you go into the quite literally hundreds of videos I've posted, you'll find that I talk about signs. And give you an example. Probably last May or June, I started having this gut feeling that God wanted me to come to Texas. I felt like I was being put on a path. I don't know why. I didn't really question it. I just knew that God needed me to come to Texas. I know it sounds crazy, but that's fine. I've been called crazy by some of the people that I believed loved me and still do love me. Your path is kind of between you and God. It's not even kind of, it is. It's between you and God. So, somewhere between June and September, I gave away what I considered to be most of my valuable possessions. Not all of them, but most of them. Some family antiques and whatnot, and other things that I happen to have. I just gave them away because I knew that I didn't need them on this path. Now, that doesn't mean if you get put on a path by God that you have to give away your stuff. It doesn't. But that's just what happened with me. So here I am 6 months later, and I'm laughing because I went from living in a motel to living in an apartment in a converted motel. Perfect example. But then 2 days ago, actually, was it 2 days? No, it was actually just yesterday. Sorry, today has been quite long. But just yesterday, while I was talking to the owner of Mueller Construction, this interesting gentleman that's like 70, 72 years old, something like that, guy by the name of Larry Mueller, down here. And real randomly, he said the words, Jim, once you get put on the path, things change. And you just have to accept it. And when he said that, I was just, and I was, at the time, I was sitting at my desk, cleaning parts or something. And I kept thinking in the back of my head, what the heck did I do? Why am I here? And I was questioning my choice of coming to a place that I had never been. And here was this person who I looked up to telling me about this. Now, I had never once mentioned to this man about being on a path that I believe God put me on. Not once. And yet, those words came out of his mouth, directed towards me, as though he knew something that I didn't. See, that's the thing. Once you have that kind of faith, once you figure it out, why in the heck you were put on this earth to begin with, God will not abandon you. You have to have that kind of faith. Now look, not all of us were put on this planet for the same reason. Far from it. But we do all have a purpose. And trust me when I tell you this. Some of us were just put here to procreate, to create more of God's children. But not all of us. Some of us were put on this plane of existence, if you will, for a very specific reason, for a purpose. Have faith in God, have faith in the plan, have faith in President Donald J. Trump, but mostly, and I cannot emphasize this enough, have faith in yourself. Because within that faith is hope. And that hope is unlike anything others possess. See, a lot of people, when they find out what I did, they say the same thing my family used to say. You must be crazy. But I'm not. I came to this world, to this place, because this is where God needs me to be. Thank you for one more day, God. Thank you for all the struggles. Thank you for getting me where I need to be, just in the nick of time. Thank you for helping me get over the hump. Thank you for a new place to live. Thank you for hope. Thank you for all the amazing, interesting people I meet. And thank you mostly for all of the struggles that I have endured. And thank you for the strength to have endured them, to have overcome the tough times. Please protect and guide President Donald J. Trump, all the members of Q, the members of our military, our law enforcement, and especially veterans for child rescue. So that united with the good patriots of the world, we can put on your full armor, pick up our swords of light and truth, and in one sound voice, defeat the dark forces of evil that continue to prey upon the children of the world once and for all. Amen. Listen, I know things can get tough. I do. But God will get you through it. But you have to have enough faith, not only in God, but in yourself, to endure those struggles. Happy end of March. And don't forget, tomorrow is April Fool's Day. This is not an April Fool's joke. I promise you. Keep the faith. Talk to y'all soon. God bless. Stay safe. Later.